So, good morning. So today we are going to see nonlinear PDE again, first order nonlinear PDE, which we left off because I thought I can cover the classification of second order linear PDE for in order to help you for the CSAR exam classification of the questions to come from that. So for that purpose, I have stopped this for a moment and I went to second order linear PDE classification. Now that part is done already. So only one part is there, which is classification of first order linear PDE, system of first order linear PDE, which I have given as an assignment. Also, some of the problems was given as assignment, but I still gave Kint or part up to my house solve it, so you can solve that problems also. So in the fourth assignment, in fourth assignment there's a Riemann problem is there. So probably that I will cover it in Friday. So before that, for that we need some more theory of nonlinear PDE, first order nonlinear PDE. That's what we are going to see now. What we are going to do is that we are going to revisit the characteristic ODE, okay, whatever we did in the beginning of the lectures almost, okay, first 10 lectures probably. So we have seen the method of characteristics. Now what we are going to do is that we have already seen some of the problems of n-dimensional variable in Jacobi's method. Jacobi's method we have seen, but there is particular class of problems, not all problems. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to see generalized first order nonlinear PDE using the characteristic ODE again. Okay, you can just generate the characteristic ODE and then solve the problem. What we are planning to do is that we are going to develop the theory for n-dimensional variable that can be applicable for even quasi-linear PDE or linear PDE, which we have seen already in the previous lectures. So that's what we are going to do, see now. So let's consider the nonlinear first order PDE of this form. Okay, f of du, comma u, comma x equal to 0. In general, this is the form of the first order nonlinear PDE. And I have a boundary condition also. Okay, this is on omega, in omega. And I have boundary condition u equal to g on omega. So far we didn't see the boundary conditions in Chapman's method or Jacobi's method. So as we have seen in the Jacobi's method, we generalize the concept as follows. Okay, there we have used a particular type of problem, not all the problems. Okay, now we are going to solve this problem for generalization. We generalize the concept. So here, what we are going to do is that we are going to do. We are going to deal with the different things. Okay, the boundary condition. So this I just called as gamma. Okay, instead of omega, I call it as gamma. So here, what I'm going to do is that for this gamma, okay, I'm going to deal it differently. Like there will be a point. Let me take some point x naught. Okay, x naught belongs to gamma. So for this gamma, I will deal it separately, like straightening the boundary condition, non-characteristic data, and compatibility conditions. These are all the things I will be dealing with. So before that, I want to find that characteristic ODE first. Then for that characteristic ODE means it is going to be a system of ODEs. For those ODEs, we are going to find what are all the possible ways to get this involved, this gamma. So first thing what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fix an omega. So I fixed omega is given. So I fix a x in omega. Okay, take a x in omega. Then what we are going to do is that we want to find what is my u of x. Okay, what is my u of x? That is my question. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do from the beginning of our lecture. So what we are trying to do in this lecture is that we are going to find a u by finding some curve lying within commas omega. Okay? So omega is there. So some curve I am going to take it. Okay, some curve. So within omega that connecting. Okay, there is a x naught over here. Okay, x naught is over here, and I have x here. Okay, for example, if I have x here, so I need to find a curve which is connecting x and x naught. Okay. So finding a curve, finding some curve lying within omega, connecting x with the point x0 in common. Okay, so that's the one I am going to find. Because I got satisfied is u equal to g also. Okay, and gamma, therefore I want to find. So let us do that. How to find that? Almost same thing what we did in the earlier one. Okay, so I'm going to take. I'm going to parameterize this x. Okay, I'm going to parameterize this x. So let's take x of s equal to x1 of s, x2 of s, etc. xn of s. Okay, some parameterization I'm going to take. So x belongs to. So this parameterization might be without done many times. For example, if I take x equal to x comma y in the unit circle, then I can simply put x equal to cos t and y equal to sin t. I can put a unit circle, and this is going to be a parameter. Similarly, you might have seen many other parameters. So you can just parameterize the x using this curve, using this one x1 of s, x2 of s, xn of s. So assume that this exists. Okay, suppose we can describe x parametrically as follows. Okay, x of s equal to x of s. Now, second assumption is that I'm going to assume that u belongs to c square omega. Okay, this is over assumption, means what I require is du ux equal to 0 only. That means for me, according to this problem, u belongs to c omega is sufficient because c1 omega is sufficient because one time differentiable and continuous is sufficient to satisfy this one. But I'm going to make more assumptions that u belongs to c square omega. This is solution of 1. Okay, it's going to be a solution of 1. Then what I'm going to define, okay, so I'm going to define as we did in the Jacobi's method or Charpitch method, z of s. Okay, z of s I'm going to notice u of x of s. Because we already denoted z equal to u in the Charpitch method and the Jacobi's method. So same kind of things we are going to do. So z of s equal to u of x of s. Okay, and what is p of s? So p of s is nothing but I'm going to denote u du of x of s. What does it mean? It is meaning that I'm finding u at x1 of s, okay, u at x1 of s, and u at x2 of s, etc. u at xn of s. So same thing. This is nothing but p1 of s, p2 of s, etc. pn of s. So that's what I find. So the geometrical interpretation of this one is that this z of s is giving a gives the values of u along the curve. Okay, the curve is given, so along the curve it is going to give, because I have represented already the parametric thing. So z of s is going to give me the values of the curve, values of u along the curve. Okay, and p gives, what p gives is it is giving the gradient of the corresponding gradient of the curve, values of the gradient t. Now what we need to choose is that we need to choose x. We need to choose our x in such a way that we can compute z of s and p of x. That's the one we got to choose. We got to choose our x, so that z of s and p of s are computable. Okay, well, let's see whether it is possible or not. So what we have, so if I differentiate this one, okay, if I differentiate p of s is given to me. So if I differentiate this one, okay, if I differentiate this one, then what I'm going to get? I'm going to get dp by ds. Okay, dp by ds I can get. I'm going to find each component I'm going to find. So dpi by ds, what is it going to come? Okay, so dpi by ds is going to come. For each one, there will be many variables. P1 is going to be function of x1, x2, x3 can be there. Okay, like the way we did in the Charpitch method or Jacobi's method, where two variables are there. So if I take P1, then you may get one more variable. Okay, so the same thing I'm going to do here. So summation j equal to 1 to n. Okay, dou square. So P1 is nothing but P1 is nothing but u of x1 of s. Okay, so p is nothing u of x1. So I'm going to get dou square u by dou x I dou xj. Okay, I'm going to assume that equal. So okay, of x of s. okay, of x of s, p of x of s, okay, and differentiating p with respect to xi comma xs, because already it is ux1 is there, okay, xi is already there, and then I am differentiating with respect to this one, because summation will come, because each one is having n components of it, okay, into dxj of s. Okay. So if you want to expand this one, you can just take two cases. For example, P1, P2, you can take it. Okay, P1 RS and P2 RS, you can take it, and then you can expand this. You will get two terms. Okay. So exactly two terms. So similarly, what I'm going to do. So here the problem is that dpi by ds is there. So that means I require second order differentiability is required. Okay, c square omega should be there. It should be u belongs to c square omega. Then only this is going to exist. That means I'm expecting more than what the problem is there. Okay, so we'll relax that in the relax these conditions in the next hour or on Friday's class. How to relax it and then get a weak solutions. Okay. So right now we are taking u belongs to c square of omega, which is over expectation of than what the problem is having. Okay. So we'll keep that aside. Okay. Now we are going to differentiate this one. Instead of s also we are going to differentiate. Okay. Okay. Sorry, this one. We are going to differentiate the given equation with respect to xi and then see what is going to happen. So if I differentiate that, what I am going to get, there are n variables are there. That's what I am going to get. Summation j equal to 1 to n dou f by dou xi. Okay. Okay. Dou pj. First we will go with dou pj and then we'll go for the other one. So anyhow, the same thing. Dou f by dou xi into du du u dx. Du u dx. Okay. Plus I have summation j equal to 1 to n. Okay, I have differentiate with respect to u. U is nothing but z. Therefore, I am going to have dou f by dou z. Okay, but there won't be any summation because u is only 1. So I don't require the summation here because u is only once. It is okay, which is a function of single. Means you are going to get only one term with respect to z. Okay, dou f by dou z of du of u comma x. Okay, the u is nothing but z. Okay, into I have to differentiate with respect to xi. I have to differentiate. Okay, therefore into dou u by dou x is going to come. Okay, with respect to z and then with respect to xi. Plus I have summation j equal to 1 to here I equal to I here. So summation j equal to 1 to n. Okay, j equal to 1 to n. Dou square. Okay, no, not dou square. Dou f by. Okay, I have to differentiate with respect to xi. So first I have to differentiate with respect to u. So in that case, that is going to become like pi of s because this I have to differentiate with respect to this one. So that I'm going to get pi of s dou f by dou p I. Okay, dou p I or dou p j. Let's see. Dou p j I think. Okay, dou p j. Okay, dou pj because I have many variables are there. So dou pj into dou pj of du u and dx into I got to differentiate that. Okay, so that is in fact this one. So that is p1 is already a u of x1. Therefore, this is going to become like dou square u by dou x j dou x dou x dou x. Okay, so you can just take continuous partial derivative. Therefore, you can interchange that. Okay, whether you put it xj as xi or xi as xj. So now what I have, this is going to be 0. Okay, right hand side is 0, so I'll write 0 here. So now we are going to choose our x yes in such a way that okay, I'm going to choose my x's in such a way that dxj of s divided by ds okay is going to be I'm going to choose my dxj of s by ds in such a way that this is going to be dou f by dou pj of p of s Okay, because PU of x of s is P of s. P of s in comma z of s plus u of x of s is that z of s comma x is nothing but again x of s. Okay, I am going to choose my xj of s in such a way that this is going to be common. Okay, this is going to be common. So if I choose that, what is the benefit of it? Okay, what is the benefit of it? We are going to get that almost we are going to get the kind of Charpitch method only here. So in that case, what I can do, I can simplify this. Okay, so dxj by ds, where is it coming? Dxj by ds is going to come over here. Okay, so I can just substitute. So dxj by ds is going to be dou f by dou p j into is going to come. Okay, dou p j by dou P of s, Z of s, and x of s. So if I substitute that, where is this? So in that case, what I'm going to get, I'm going to get, I'm going to substitute that. Okay, so dxj by ds, which is going to be dou f by dou ps, Z of s and x of s. So dou square u by dou xi, etc. is going to come. Okay. So in that case, so this I can just simplify that. Okay. So this is going to become like dou square, dou f by p of s and z of s and x of s, dou square u by dou x square. Okay. So the same thing, whatever I have written in the previous slide, same thing I have written here. So here, wherever I have the u of x, okay, first I am going to make this pu everything to p of s and x of s. Okay. So this is going to become like, so wherever I have P of u, etc., I am going to replace that as P of s. Okay. So this is going to become like P of s, and this is going to become like Z of s. Okay. This is Z of s, and this is x of s. Same thing here. Okay, I'm just replacing it over here. So P comma, I'm just simply putting P comma Z comma x. Same thing. P comma Z comma x. Okay. Now, if you compare this, okay, so this term dxj by ds, okay, into dou square u by dou x is nothing but, this is nothing but dou f by dou p z of s and x of s. So if I just replace this over here, then what I'm going to get, I'm going to get dpi by ds. Okay, this is going to become a dpi by ds. Okay, so dpi ds is same as this one. Okay, dpi ds. So if I substitute here x comma s by ds, that is same as this one, and this is same as this one. Therefore, dpi by ds equal to what I'm going to get. This is the term. So I can print that on the other side. This and this are same. So I can print that on the other side. So I'm going to get summation I equal to 1 to n. Okay, summation I equal to 1 to n. I use the above expression in late. Okay, so we are going to get, sorry, there's a mistake. Let me see. Summation should come. Why there is they made some mistakes. Sorry. So here actually what I did, I was differentiation with respect to xi only, not with respect to okay, only with respect to xi, right? Therefore, if I have the I don't require summation here because I'm differentiating with respect to xi. Therefore, no summation is required. When do I do the summation? It is not required. Okay, because I'm differentiating with respect to xi only. So therefore, no summation is required. Okay, so there's a mistake here. There is no summation. It is summation. Okay, so in that case, what I have, so this is going to be replaced over here. So whatever I have here, this is going to be same as this one. So these two terms are going to come on the other side. Okay, so there's a mistake here. Just remember that there is no summation. So it's going to be minus the two terms. So I'm going to get dou f by dou xi of p comma z comma x minus dou f by dou z into p comma z comma x into, so dou e by dou xi is there. Okay, what is dou e by dou xi, that we'll see. Okay, so that is nothing but dou e by dou xi is nothing but PA. Okay, so that's how I got. So TPI by ds is nothing but minus dou f by dou z into d comma z comma x and PA minus dou f by dou x PA comma x. So that's what I have for TPI by ds. So almost same thing what we did in the, if you remember the Charpit's method, we did a similar kind of things. Okay. So now differentiating the z of s. Okay, z was nothing but z of s is nothing but u of x of s. Okay. So now if you differentiate that with respect to s of this one, then what I am going to get is that I am going to get dz by ds is going to become like going to get. So I got differentiate with respect to s. So we have first I got differentiate with respect to x and then I got differentiate with s. So I'm going to get summation j equal to n or I equal to n dou u by dou xj into with respect to x I got to, so that is going to become like dxj by dx. But what is dou u by dou xi is nothing but pi or pj, summation j equal to 1 to n pj. Okay, and dxj by ds is this one, so that is going to be dou f by dou pj into p comma z comma x. Okay, so therefore what I have is, if I compare that, okay, what I am going to get is that I am going to get three equations are going to come. One is p of s. Okay, p data of s I am going to have as p I data of s. Okay, p I data of s. Okay, or simply I can put p of s. Okay, because for each component I have, so simply I can put p of s also. So p of s is going to become like equal to minus dx. Okay, this is going to be, again put the components, minus dx into dx of p comma z comma x is going to be, okay, dx into f of p comma z comma x is going to come minus dz into f of p comma z comma x into dot, okay, dot p or yes, because this is a simple one, so you have this is nothing but a scalar is going to come. This is yeah. Okay. Then I have another condition, z of s. Okay, z of s is going to become like p into p. Here dot will come, that dot will not come because this is a scalar. Okay, scalar, and then I have p. So that will be okay. So here dot is going to come because there is a summation here. Okay, so what I am going to get, I am going to get t dp of f. Okay, dp of f of p comma z comma x dot, this is summation is there, so it will be similarly you can here, okay, from this one you can say that x of s is going to be dp of f of p comma z comma x. So here is the dot, here is the dot. So these are called, okay, these three equations are called characteristic ODE. Okay, these three equations are called characteristic ODE. So I forgot to put the dot over here. Okay, so everywhere dz by ds, dx by ds, or dp by ds. So p dot of s equal to minus dx into f of p comma z comma x minus dz into f of z comma x and z dot of s is this. Okay, so everywhere dot is there. So this is called, so you can see that this is the ODE because TP by ds is there, dz by ds is there, dx by ds is there. So this is called, this is our system of ODE. How many equations are here? Any guess? How many equations are here? This equation. How many? See, this is a system of ODE, right? How many systems are there?
Three systems.
Even that? How many are there? Anybody? See, I have a system of ODEs, characteristic ODEs. So how many
Three
equations are there in this
Three
system?
equations, no?
Am I audible?
Sir, three equations are there, right?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
So anyone there? Preeti, Ranjan,
Yes.
Nigel?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. How many systems are there?
Sir, three.
No. How many equations are there? See, n variables are there, right?
Yeah, n variables, but
I have given I and j here.
Equation, sir.
Right?
N square.
Not n square. Why n square? So here I have I equal to, this is with respect to I, so I is equal to 1 to n. Here I equal to is nothing but j equal to 1 to n. Okay, and here only one equation is there. Okay, this is summation, there is only one equation. Therefore, there are 2n plus 1,
2n plus 1.
one system of equations are there in this one, and then using that we use so these equations we have to solve it and then find the answers. Right? So there are 2n plus 1 systems are there in this system. So this is called system of characteristic ODE. Characteristics equations for the linear, non-linear ODE, and the equations 5 and 4 are called characteristic. Means this x dot of s and x of s and z of s. So that is called, we have z of s 5 and 6. Okay, 5 and 6. 5 and 4. 5 and 4. So 5 and 4 is z of s and p of s. These two together are called characteristics. Okay. So we usually say this x of s as projected characteristic. Means what is the meaning is that, so the projection of full characteristic, okay, means once I solve this one, I'm going to get p of s, z of s and x of s. Okay. So that one I'm going to project it onto a physical region in omega subset of R component. So that is going to give you the projected characteristic, that is called x of s. Okay, x of s is going to get from this one. So what we proved is, we proved a theorem now. Suppose C belongs to C square omega, solves the first order linear ODE, non-linear ODE in omega, and we assume that x solves this one. Okay, because these are all the assumptions we made. This one I made an assumption. If it is there, then only we are going to get it. Okay, so this is going to be there. X dot of s equal to dp of f of z from x is there. Okay, that is solves the it solves, suppose x solves this ODE, let's see. Then from this one, what you can say is that from this one only I have derived this one. Therefore, if it solves, then this is going to be solvable. Okay, this is going to solve the P is going to solve the ODE. This one, okay, this is going to solve the ODE, and then that solves this T of z comma s. So therefore, we are going to get the solution for it. Okay. So then P solves the ODE 11a and Z solves the ODE 11 so that's what we have to, because of this assumption. So there are two assumptions, one is C belongs to C square omega. Okay, let's see some simple problems, example problems. So suppose, because this I have not made any assumptions on F so far, because nowhere I used a condition of this nonlinearity in our problem. Okay, so this is a general settings only I got taken. So I didn't use the nonlinearity conditions anywhere in my problem. If you just see the proof of this one, I didn't use that anywhere. So therefore, this is applicable for linear 3Ds also. So let us see whether how to obtain that characteristic for that. It's almost same like what we did in the method of characteristic. Same thing is going to come here. Okay, that we have seen the from the geometrical representation, we obtain that and then we have proved that. Now we are going to generalize that and then going to get it for the general integration. Okay, because in that case, mostly we are dealing with either 1D or 2D cases. Now we are generalizing it for general first order linear ODE, PDE in n variables. So you are going to obtain it. So this is the characteristic ODE. We got to obtain the same thing for our linear PDE. So in linear PDE, it is of this form. In general, f of du comma u comma x is going to be of the form p of x into p of x is some function p of x into du of x, okay, plus c of x into u of x equal to 0. So you can clearly see that this is a linear PDE because there is no nonlinearity term. Okay, du of x and v of x is there, so there is no nonlinearity. And we found the d of x and c of x, which is independent of x, which is independent of u1, u d. Okay. So this is my linear PDE, linear homogeneous PDE. Therefore, I can write this as f of p comma z comma x equal to p of x into p of x, okay, p of x, p I will put, okay, plus c into z. Okay. So now what I have, if I calculate my TP of f, okay, what is TP of f? TP of f is, I am just differentiating with respect to p, therefore this is going to become 0, only p is going to become p of x. Okay. TP of f is going to become like p of x. So I can substitute in my equation. This equation is not required here. Okay, I'm not going to use this equation. Let us see that why it is in the next class or next to next class. Okay, this is not going to be helpful for us. We just start involved in that. We'll see that why in the next few classes. Okay, so this two is going to help us. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to get, I'm going to get x dot of s is going to become like TP is nothing but B, so P of x is going to come, or P of x of s is going to come, and Z dot of s is going to become like TP of f of z, so that is going to be like P of x into P of x of s into P of s. Okay, but what is P of, if I substitute over here, okay, so this is going to be P of x of s into P of s, so if this is going to be equal to 0. If I substitute in this equation, P of x into P of s into is plus C of z equal to 0. So from the if I use this value, okay, if I use this one, P of x of s into P of s, that is same as from this one. It is same as P of x dot p is same as minus C dot s, okay, minus C z. So I can just say this one equal to minus C of s, C of x of s into z of s. Okay, this is going to be my characteristic ODE for linear P. For linear P, this is going to be my form. Okay. So what I can do here, P dot is not needed. We'll see that in the next few lectures why it is. Okay. So what I have, we'll see a simple problem. Let us solve. So I have okay. I have a simple problem now. Yes, small problem. So what I have, x1 ux2 minus x2 ux1 equal to 0. Okay, so this is my problem, and u equal to 0. Okay, this is in omega, this is on gamma. So now what I have, this is linear ODE, linear PDE, because here only x1 is there, here only x2 is there, no u square du terms are there, okay, with respect to u and x1. Therefore, this is a linear ODE where omega is given as a quadrant. Okay, the quadrant is like x1 greater than 0 and x2 greater than 0, means it's in the first quadrant. Okay, and gamma is given as x1 greater than 0 and x2 equal to 0, means we are going to take only the first line. Okay, means if I have this one, so this is going to be my first quadrant, and this is going to be my gamma. Okay, this is gamma, and this is omega. Only this portion. Okay, so for this problem, already we know that this is linear PDE. Okay, this is the linear PDE. So we need to find what is our B. So what is B is nothing but, so B is nothing but minus x2 minus x2 comma x1. Okay, minus x2 comma x1. So if I take a dot product with u, you can see that. Okay, so this is going to be ux1 ux2. Okay, so I take the dot product, you can see that minus x2 into x1 is there, x1 into x2 is there. Okay, so that is very clear. So b is going to be minus x2 comma x1. Okay, so b is nothing but minus x2 comma x1. Okay. B is going to be minus x2 comma x1, and we can substitute in this equation that simply. So c is C is what is C? Okay, here B is okay. So in this problem, if I put 0, then C is going to be 0. Okay, so in this case, zeta base is going to be 0. But in the slide it is given to, but from here it was showing. I just considered this. Okay, so x1 x2 minus x2 x1, and C is going to be, what is C? C is going to be, if I just bring it over here, so in that case, if I compare that, that is going to be minus 1. Okay, C is going to be minus 1. So I can substitute it over here, therefore I am going to get x dot of s is going to become, x dot of s is going to become like p of x of s, which is nothing but minus x2 comma x1, and z dot of s is going to become like minus x2, actually I will put the directly this one, minus c of x and z, that is going to become like z. C is already mentioned, so it's so this one I can just rewrite this. Okay, x dot of s is nothing but I have n plus 1 system, 2n plus 1 systems are there. So here n is 2, therefore 3 systems will come. So one is I can rewrite this one as x1 dot of s equal to minus x2, okay, and x2 dot equal to x1, and z dot equal to z. Okay, so these are the 3 systems. So I got to solve this one. If I solve this problem using the system of ODEs, so I can solve this problem, and you can verify that. For this one, you can easily verify that z dot equal to z means z is going to become like e power s is going to come. Okay, with some initial condition, they give the initial condition as z dot. Then I am going to answer as I am going to get the answer as z equal to z dot into e power s is coming. Okay, so there is these things. So I'm going to get z equal to z naught into e power s is going to come, and x1 dot minus x2, x2 dot x1. If you solve this problem, you are going to get x equal to, okay, solve the system of ODEs. So you are going to get x1 is equal to x naught into cos s is going to come, and x2 is equal to x naught into sin s is going to come. Okay. So here I can put x naught is greater than or equal to 0, and 0 less than or equal to s less than or equal to pi/2, because it is going to lie in the first quadrant only. Okay, so s is lying in 0 less than or equal to s. So now if you fix a point x1 comma x2 in omega and choose s greater than 0 such that x naught greater than 0, and this is going to be that, this is going to be satisfied. Okay, so that is what you are going to choose, is that you are going to choose the x naught. Okay, x naught is going to become like, so from this one you can identify that x naught is going to become like x1 square plus x2 square, and s is going to be tan inverse of x2 by x4. Okay, that is going to be your x naught. So in that case, what is your u is going to become? U is going to become like g. U is nothing but this one. Okay, u is nothing but this one. So z dot is nothing but g. Okay, so therefore this is going to become like u of x1 comma x2, which is nothing but z. Okay, which is nothing but z. So z is nothing but z dot into e of s. So what is z dot is going to come? Which is coming from the initial curve. Therefore this is going to come from here g. Therefore I am going to get g of x naught comma g of x naught is going to come. Okay, g of x naught is going to come. But what is x naught? X naught is already square root of. So I can write here x naught is into e power s is going to come. So I already know what is x naught and ds. So this is going to become a g of square root of x1 square plus x2 square into e power tan inverse x2 by x1. Okay, so this is going to be my u of x1 comma x2. Okay. Any doubts? Okay. Now we can do the same thing for the quasi-linear PDE also. So for quasi-linear PDE, what we have instead of P of x, I'm going to have P of x comma u is going to come. Okay, P of x comma u is going to come. So let's see that same kind of thing. So I'm going to take a quasi-linear PDE now, and then we'll go for the full time. So for quasi-linear PDE, what I have f of du comma u comma x is there, which is nothing but p of x comma u into du, okay, dot product is there, plus again c is also x comma u, okay, p of x comma u dot d of u and c of x comma u. So once again, this can be written as f of p comma z comma x equal to p of x comma u, which can be written as p of x comma z, and du is p plus c of x comma z equal to g. Homogeneous Gaussian. So once again, if I find what is my TP, okay, with respect to p, if I differentiate, this is going to give me p of x comma z. Okay, this is going to give me p of x comma z. So therefore, here almost same thing you are going to get it. What you are going to get is that you are going to get the same thing. Instead of p of x comma s, yes, again you are going to get same thing here. Okay, TP of f of z comma x is nothing but this one. Therefore, p of x comma s into z of comma z of s is going to come. Same thing over here. So we are going to get, if you substitute over there, if you substitute in this equation once again and then bring it over the other side, so you are going to get minus c of x comma z square. Means c of x of s comma z of s is going to come. Okay. Again here p is not needed. We'll see why in the next problem. So again, one simple problem. So the problem is that we have ux1 plus ux2 equal to u square, okay, and u equal to g, okay, and common. So here we are taking the different curve. So x2 is greater than 0 and x2 is greater than 0. Means you are taking half plane. Okay, you are taking x2 greater than 0, so you are taking the half plane. And x2 equal to 0 means you are taking only the x-axis. Yeah, okay. The PD is of the form possible here, which you know already. And here we can find what is the b. B is going to be 1, 1. Okay, so I can write once again the same way. If you take the dot product with the ux1, ux2, okay, then you are going to get that ux1 plus ux2. Okay, so b is going to be 1, 1, and c is nothing but u square is there, therefore this is nothing but z square. Okay, z minus z square. So it's nothing but minus z square. So I can again get the same thing. So my system is going to become like x dot is going to become like 1, 1. Okay, 1, 1 is going to come, and z dot is going to become like z square. So that means I have x1 dot equal to 1, x2 dot equal to 1, and z dot equal to z square. Okay, so 3 equations are there. Once again, you can solve this problem, very simple one. So in that case, what you are going to get? You are going to get x1. You are going to get x2 equal to. I'm going to put x2 equal to s and x1 of s equal to x naught of s. I'm going to put. Okay, because I have 2 things are coming. So one I'm going to take it 0 because x2 is greater than or equal to 0. So the initial condition is x naught is 0. Okay, because you are having x2 on the line you are taking, so that is going to 0. That's what you are going to get. x2 equal to x2 of s is going to become like so this is going to become like x1 is going to become like x naught plus s is going to become this is going to become like x2 is going to become like just s. Okay, because of the initial condition, because it is on the common. And then z of s is going to come. Once again, you can just differentiate, integrate this one. So once you integrate this one, what you are going to get is that you are going to get z is going to come like just solve this problem. You are going to get z equal to z naught divided by 1 minus x into z naught is going. Okay, to solve this problem. So once again, if you substitute the z naught is nothing but g of x naught, so you are going to get g of x naught divided by 1 minus s into g of x naught is going to come. Okay, So if you solve this one, so once again, what you need to do, you need to check what are the conditions you can use. So it is given that x1 comma x2 is equal to x0 comma s. So from that I can find what is my x0. So if I substitute it over here, so from these two I can get x0 equal to x1 minus x2. Okay, and s is nothing but x2. S is nothing but only x2. Okay, so I can substitute it over here. This is going to be g of x1 minus x2 divided by 1 minus s is nothing but x2. So x2 into g of x1 minus x2. So this is your linear system. So here actually we'll see in the next class, like for some of these problems you may not get a unique answer. You may get multiple answers. Now general case, you can take a nonlinear PDE. Okay, so for nonlinear PDE we don't need any such things. So you can simply go for that. So in that case, this P data base is going to come. Okay, so in that case, what I have, I take third problem. Okay, so that problem is u of x1 comma x2 equal to u. Okay, u x1 u x2 equal to u, and u equal to x2. So u x1 u x2 equal to u. Okay, and u equal to x2 square. Okay, so this is the. And again, same plane, pick half plane we are taking x1 equal to 0 and comma equal to x1 equal to 0. So in this case, I can write f is nothing but p comma f comma p comma z comma x is going to be p1 p2, okay, p1 p2 minus z. Okay, therefore I can find my dpf. So dpf is going to be I can just find my dpf. So dpf is going to become like what is it going to be there? dpf is going to be p1 p2. Okay, so one is going to be p1, another is going to be p2. So dpf is going to become like p1 p2 is there. So I can write this one. dp1 of p is going to become like p2. Okay, and dp2 of f is going to become like p1. Okay, and t set of f is going to become like -1. Okay, but as I have dx is 0, so that is not going there. So in that case, I'm going to get p that is going to become like p1. Okay, p1 is okay. So let's write this one. So x dot of s is going to become like x1 dot equal to p2. Okay, correct. And x2 dot is going to become like p1. Okay, and this is going to be z dot. So z dot we got to find. Okay, z dot is going to become like tp is p1 p2. Okay, and then again p of s you are going to take it. Okay, so that means you are going to get p2 p1. You are going to get p2 p1 dot p2 p1 dot p1 p2 is going to come. So that is nothing but p2 into p1, p2 into p1. Therefore, this is going to be 2 p1 p2 is going to come. Okay. Now we need to find what is our p dot. So p dot is going to become minus p z is nothing but -1 is there. Okay, into ps is there. So in that case, that is going to be like p1 p2. Yeah, that's all. So minus. So this is 0. dx is 0. Okay, dx is 0 here. There is no dx here. Only this term is there. This is already -1. So this is going to be plus. P of s is there, so p dot is going to be p. So I can write p dot 1 equal to p1 and p2 dot equal to p2. Okay, so I got totally 2 plus 2 4 5 systems I got. Okay, so once again you can solve the system of ODE, then you are going to get the answer as x0 by 2 into e power s, 2x0 into e power s. Once again use the initial conditions here. Okay, so you will get that. One is going to be x0 by 2 into e power s, and is going to be 2x0 into e power s. And z is going to become p1 p2 is there. So if you substitute that p1 from that, you are going to get one of them x0 square, 2 will get cancelled, so you are going to get e power s is going to come. Similarly, you can find your x0 of s. So x0 of s is going to become like 2x0 into e power s minus 1, and x2 is going to become like x0 by 2 into e power s plus 1 square. So if you substitute that values of p1 p2 whatever you obtained from the a, substitute it in the x1 of s, you will get the answer. Okay. So then once again you simplify this for x1 and x2, then you can get what is your x dot. So and then you substitute the u of x1 from x2. So here you have this condition u equal to x2 square is there, that you have to use that also, and then you can simplify and get the answer as x1 plus 4x2 square is 16 square. So with this I will stop today's lecture. We'll see with boundary conditions on Friday, and there is a non-characteristic data, etc. Okay. So the take-home message is that whatever be the non-linear, whether it is a non-linear PDE or linear PDE, if your PDE is of this form, some function du of u comma x is there, then you can find your characteristic ODE this way, and then solve this problem, use the initial conditions, okay, and then you can get a solution for your Z of x or Z. So that's the take-home message. If you have any questions.